For all its beauty and splendor, the ocean can be a cruel teacher. The ocean remains largely unexplored, and diving into its depths allows individuals to venture into a realm that is still largely mysterious. The deep sea holds countless hidden treasures, unknown creatures, and geological formations that are yet to be discovered. The desire to explore the unknown and uncover new knowledge about our planet is a powerful driving force for many. Diving into the ocean's depths comes with inherent risks and dangers due to the extreme environment and complex nature of underwater operations. Please click the subscribe and like buttons. This is Outdoor Disasters. The sinking of the Titanic has captivated people's imagination for decades since its maiden voyage in 1912. The Titanic was considered an engineering marvel and the largest ship of its time. Its sinking was a shocking and tragic event that resulted in the loss of over 1,500 lives. The sheer scale of the disaster and the human stories of heroism, sacrifice, and loss have contributed to its enduring fascination. The Titanic has achieved iconic status in popular culture, often symbolizing the hubris of humanity and the fragility of technological progress. It represents a cautionary tale about the consequences of overconfidence and the belief in invincibility. The mystery surrounding its final resting place and the subsequent expeditions to locate and explore the wreck have added to its allure. The discovery of the wreckage in 1985 by Dr. Robert Ballard and subsequent explorations have revealed new insights into the ship's condition and the events leading up to its sinking. Numerous books, films, documentaries, and other forms of media have been inspired by the Titanic. James Cameron's 1997 film Titanic became a global sensation, introducing the story to a new generation and further fueling public interest. The combination of its historical significance, the human drama involved, the mystery surrounding the wreckage, and its representation of both technological advancement and human fallibility has fueled the fire for many to venture into the deep and catch a glimpse of one of history's most tragic maritime events. For Stockton Rush, his expedition into the depths of the ocean to explore the Titanic would be a catastrophic failure. Stockton Rush 61 is the founder and CEO of OceanGate Expeditions, a US-based company founded in 2009. Its website describes itself as an ocean exploration venture focused on providing crewed submersible services to enable researchers and explorers to access the ocean's vast resources, adding that it plans to evolve methods to lower the costs of such explorations. Apart from using submersibles for exploration purposes, it says they can be used for scientific research, allowing people to carry out real-time sampling, collecting and experimentation, deep-sea testing, and underwater filming. Rush is an alumnus of the Haas School of Business from the University of California, Berkeley, where he earned an MBA between 1987 and 1989. He also has a bachelor's in aerospace, aeronautical, and astronautical engineering from Princeton University. He started his company after spending a few years as a commercial pilot. In a 2017 interview with the Princeton Alumni Weekly, he said of the inspiration for his company, "I was interested in exploration. I thought it was space exploration. I thought it was Star Trek in 2001, A Space Odyssey, and Star Wars. And then I realized it's all in the ocean." This is what drove Rush to launch his company and begin building his submersibles. OceanGate has been attempting missions since at least 2017 and successfully reached the Titanic wreck for the first time in 2021 and then again in 2022. It has 18 expeditions planned to start in the summer of 2023, according to its website. Missions take approximately 10 days, 8 of which are at sea and cost passengers $250,000 each. The 5-person expeditions usually include 3 paying passengers, along with 2 crew members to lead the group. In an interview with Smithsonian Magazine in 2019, he further stressed ocean exploration over that of space, saying, "We're going to colonize the ocean long before we colonize space." While the Titanic expedition was to begin that year, it was delayed after the company failed to secure proper permitting for its contracted research support vessel. Submersibles, unlike submarines, are not fully capable of staying underwater for long durations. They need the support of a surface vessel, platform, shore team, or sometimes a larger submarine. OceanGate has led more than a dozen underwater trips, including to shipwrecks like the Andrea Doria, which lies up to 240 feet underwater near Nantucket. It has 3 5-person submersibles in its fleet: Antipodes, Cyclops 1, and Titan. While Antipodes and Cyclops 1 can travel just 1,000 and 1,640 feet below the surface, respectively, the Titan is designed to go 4,000 meters, or 13,123 feet deep, just enough to reach the Titanic wreckage, which lies about 12,500 feet down, uncomfortably close to the vessel's maximum depth. The Titan is lighter in weight and more cost-efficient to mobilize than any other deep-diving submersible. OceanGate claims the Titan is a combination of groundbreaking engineering and off-the-shelf technology. OceanGate has for years faced criticism from experts about Titan's safety. David Lockridge, who was an OceanGate employee from 2016 to 2018, warned about the thickness of the Titan's hull and the potential dangers to passengers of the Titan as the submersible reached extreme depths. In a 2018 report, Lockridge later said in a court filing that he was wrongly terminated after raising these concerns. More than 36 experts subsequently sent a letter to Stockton Rush saying that the experimental approach adopted by OceanGate could result in negative outcomes. OceanGate offered a response of sorts in a 2019 blog post that explained why the company had decided not to class the Titan, which would require to get an independent group to evaluate whether a series of standards, including on safety, have been met, which is the industry norm. OceanGate argued that innovation often falls outside of the existing industry paradigm, and that by itself, classing is not sufficient to ensure safety. Rush seemed quite cavalier in his own right, saying, "I mean, if you just want to be safe, don't get out of bed, don't get in your car, don't do anything," Rush told CBS in 2022. "At some point, you're going to take some risk, and it is a risk-reward question." He added that safety is a pure waste. A London-based travel company, Henry Cookson Adventures Limited, accused OceanGate of not having a seaworthy vessel when it entered an agreement in 2016 to take up to 9 passengers to the Titanic in 2018. The travel company sought to recover roughly $850,000 it paid OceanGate, according to a civil suit filed in 2021. Nevertheless, another major mission was planned to observe the Titanic in the Atlantic Ocean. On June 16, 2023, the expedition to the Titanic departed from St. John's, Newfoundland, aboard the Research and Expedition ship MV Polar Prince. On board are 5 passengers, including Hamish Harding, a British businessman, aviator, and space tourist. He had previously descended into the Mariana Trench, broken the Guinness World Record for a circumnavigation of the Earth, and flown into space. Paul-Henri Nargeolet, a former French Navy commander, diver, submersible pilot, member of the French Institute for Research and Exploitation of the Sea, and director of underwater research for Group and RMS Titanic, Inc., which owns salvage rights to the wreckage site. Nargeolet led more than 35 expeditions to the wreck, supervised the recovery of thousands of artifacts, and was widely considered the leading authority on the wreck site. Shahzada Dawood, a Pakistani-British businessman. He was one of the wealthiest people in Pakistan and was joined by his son, Suleman. And lastly, Stockton Rush, the founder and CEO of OceanGate, the company leading the expedition. In the vast expanse of the Atlantic Ocean, where the icy waters swallowed the legendary RMS Titanic in 1912, an intriguing chapter of history was waiting to be rediscovered. The desire to explore the mysteries of the deep, to unravel the secrets concealed beneath the waves, led to the expedition. The Titan is not a big submersible, nor is it designed for extended periods underwater, or capable of traveling to a port without help from another vessel, as naval submarines are. The teardrop-shaped vessel is 22 feet or 6.7 meters long, can carry 5 people, and is equipped with one small porthole window on the front of the vessel, where there is also a small toilet. The cylindrical, all-metal interior otherwise lacks seats, and is approximately the size of a minivan. Because it travels so deep in the ocean, the submersible cannot use GPS and communicates with the Polar Prince through a text messaging system. It's piloted with a video game controller, which is not as weird as it sounds. Even the U.S. Navy uses Xbox controllers to operate the photonic scopes that replaced periscopes on submarines. Critically, the Titan submersible only has 96 hours of oxygen reserves on board. That means that as soon as the vessel went missing, the clock started ticking on remaining life support. Even if the sub were able to resurface on its own, the passengers would be stuck inside until help arrived, since the hatch is closed from the outside and sealed shut with 17 bolts. The ship arrived at the dive site on June 17, 2023, and the dive operation began the following day on Sunday, June 18th, at 9:30 a.m. For the first hour and a half of the descent, the Titan communicated with the Polar Prince every 15 minutes. The entire voyage was supposed to take just 2.5 hours, but the Polar Prince lost contact with the Titan approximately an hour and 45 minutes into the trip, triggering a desperate search for the missing sub. The vessel was expected to resurface at 4:30 p.m. At 7:10 p.m., the U.S. Coast Guard was notified of the missing vessel. The submersible had up to 96 hours of breathable air supply for its 5 passengers when it set out, which would have expired on the morning of June 22nd if the submersible was intact. For days, the world could only imagine the grim scene. 5 men cramped in a cold, dark tube, knowing that they were about to run out of air. In reality, those aboard the Titan submersible most likely died instantaneously in a catastrophic implosion. The deep-sea water pressure that appears to have crushed the 22-foot or 6.7-meter craft would have been roughly equivalent in weight to the 9 million kilograms wrought iron Eiffel Tower. The colossal forces would have acted so quickly that it would be like the submersible carbon fiber hull suddenly vanishing before anyone inside knew what was happening. They would have known nothing. The minute this body of water hit them, they would have been dead, said Paul White, a professor at England's University of Southampton, who specializes in underwater acoustics and forces. With the vast search effort now over, the focus turns to the many unanswered questions that remain. Though the tourist sub lost contact around 1 hour 45 minutes into its 2-hour dive and was found on the seabed around 1,600 feet from the Titanic's bow, officials don't yet appear to know exactly where or why the tourist sub imploded. A U.S. Navy analysis of acoustic data detected an anomaly consistent with an implosion or explosion near the Titan around the time it lost communications Sunday, June 18, 2023. The sound was not definitive, but it was immediately shared with commanders, who decided to keep searching. Even if by some chance they were alive, the crew would have been 2 miles on the ocean floor with oxygen running out. But, in the words of U.S. Coast Guard Captain Jamie Frederick, who is helping to lead the effort, "You always have hope." Titan's abrupt demise was apparently caused by the same deep-sea forces that make expeditions like it so rare. It's why fewer people have been to Titanic's ocean depths than have been to space. Anyone who has dived to the bottom of a pool has noticed the difference in water pressure and heaviness in the nose and ears. Imagine that, but 1,000 times more, Paul White said. That's what it's like at these depths. It's a phenomenal force. At Titanic depths, some 12,500 feet down, the water pressure is nearly 400 times more than at the ocean's surface. Some 6,000 pounds or 2,700 kilograms would have been pressing down on every square inch of Titan's exterior. The deadly implosion of the Titan submersible raises questions about whether the vessel exploring the Titanic wreckage was destined for disaster because of its unconventional design and its creator's refusal to submit to safety checks that are standard in the industry. The Transportation Safety Board of Canada is launching an investigation involving the loss of the Titan that will focus on the cargo vessel Polar Prince. The Transportation Safety Board will investigate the Polar Prince in its role as a support vessel and will conduct a safety investigation into the circumstances of the operation, the agency said. The agency said a team of investigators is traveling to St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador to gather information and conduct interviews. It said it will coordinate with other agencies in the days ahead. The Titan operated in international waters, far from the reach of many laws of the United States or other nations. It wasn't registered as a U.S. vessel or with international agencies that regulate safety. nor was it classified by a maritime industry group that sets standards on matters such as hull construction. Stockton Rush had said he didn't want to be bogged down by such standards. In the days before the Titan's vessel went into the ocean off the coast of Newfoundland, Canada, Suleman Dawood, the 19-year-old university student accompanying his father Shahzada on the expedition, expressed hesitation about going. Asma Dawood, Shahzada's sister, said her nephew wasn't very up for it and felt terrified about the trip to explore the wreckage of the Titanic. But the 19-year-old ended up going aboard OceanGate's 22-foot submersible because the trip fell over Father's Day weekend, and he was eager to please his dad, who was passionate about the lore of the Titanic, according to Asma. I am thinking of Suleman, who is 19 in there, just perhaps gasping for breath. It's been crippling, to be honest. The 5 people on board, Stockton Rush, Hamish Harding, Shahzada Dawood, Suleman Dawood, and Paul-Henri Nargeolet, are now gone. But their deaths and this disastrous voyage will live in infamy. OceanGate said in a statement that everyone on the submersible had sadly been lost. It added, "These men were true explorers who shared a distinct spirit of adventure and a deep passion for exploring and protecting the world's oceans. Our hearts are with these 5 souls and every member of their families during this tragic time. We grieve the loss of life and joy they brought to everyone they knew." Finding oneself traveling in a defective submarine is an incredibly perilous situation, and if you're either trapped on the sea floor or implode due to pressure, survival is virtually non-existent. Building a safe submersible involves following established protocols and employing engineering practices that prioritize the integrity, functionality, and safety of the vessel. It's important to note that building a safe submersible requires collaboration among experienced engineers, naval architects, marine technicians, and relevant experts in submersible design and construction. Adhering to industry best practices, standards, and regulations, and continuously evaluating and improving safety measures are vital to ensuring the safe operation of a submersible. Comply with relevant national and international standards, regulations, and classification requirements for submersible design, construction, and operation. Seek necessary certifications and approvals from regulatory bodies to ensure adherence to safety standards. Very important protocols so you can prevent an outdoor disaster.